Today is the day one of Unlock Your Sexual Desire Matrix. I truly know that the work with our sexuality, how connected we are to our body, to our desire. And when I talk about desire, it's not just desire for sex, it's desire for life. Desire to be fully engaged with life is so important for us. It can really change our life. I'm super excited to be sharing this information with you. It took me so long to look at all the aspects that affect our aliveness, our vibrancy, our sexual desire. So I'll just start with this video. And then we go right into the training.
I wish more women knew that after 40, we're not fading away or growing old. In fact, we're stepping into our prime, ready to experience deeply fulfilling intimacy. This is our moment to unlock our desire. I know so many women I work with struggle with the lack of desire, and they feel frustrated in their intimate life because they just don't know how to unlock the magic of their desire. And the truth is that untapped wellspring of desire resides within each of us. Can you feel it? The deep well of untapped desire potential bubbling within you.
It's bringing more of myself to everything. It's that bigness again, bringing a more total version of me to both myself and others.
Quite a different experience of life, huh? When you bring more of you.
Yeah.
Because after 40, we're not becoming an old right prude. No, no, no. We're stepping into our power and becoming the fierce, the loving, the authentic women we were always meant to be. Now that the days of constant childcare are behind us, it's time we put ourselves back on the map. We see the right keys to unlock our desire and then for desire out of that wall. Isn't this exciting?
A real sense of reconnecting with the body itself, coming alive into it, having that aliveness come up and affect everything.
Because as we age, we have so much more potential for heart-melting intimacy. We have so much more capacity to open our body to love. And as we age, we actually become more capable of enjoying soul-fulfilling intimacy.
More that sense of wholeness, which I didn't have before doing this work. From the feet up, from the ground up, feeling my whole being as a sexual being, a totality rather than something just in one part of my body.
Of course, when we're tired or exhausted, we usually don't want intimacy, right? But what if I told you that intimacy can actually replenish our energy? Do you know that fulfilling intimacy can actually improve our hormonal balance, and it reduces stress? It improves our self-esteem, it creates deeper bonds, and it makes us feel beautiful. It makes us feel loved.
I have to say it's one of the most powerful workshops I've ever done in my life. I'm 54 and I've done a lot of workshops in my life. Teresa rolls very beautifully, keeping everybody safe. She's just got so much experience. I feel more love for myself. I feel more open. I feel like my energy is just so vast. What more is possible? I love that. I love that. What more is possible? I feel more playful. I just feel like I want to dance around my lounge with my cat or be a bit sillier or more creative.
I'm so passionate about helping women to reclaim and voice their desires. So we'll start living a more expansive life, more joyful life, and more connected life.
It's just amazing. Compared to where I was a couple of months ago, I feel so much lighter and freer, but also connected to myself as well. And I am expressing myself more, which is wonderful. It feels so healthy to actually speak up about things that I've kept down for so long. It brings with it a sense of calm and peace as well. I feel like I float more every day as I move around. So thank you, Teresa.
I absolutely love sharing that with other women because I know the impact of it. Because I know once we feel attractive, once we feel desiring, desirable, and we feel confident in asking for what we want, our life just transforms.
Being more connected to myself, more connected to living authentically, both in myself and with others. More meaning. I know I'm answering my needs for connection in a different way because I don't want inauthentic connection now. What we're experiencing working with you is boundary breaking, not just personally but culturally. Huge, it's celebration or excitement.
There's something incredible about the way she works and the techniques that she gives so that you know you're in control of everything. You have everything inside you, and it's the techniques to help you draw it out in these practices so you're in complete control of your own journey and your own healing.
It's definitely opened stuff up for me, and I want to continue on this journey being my true self, love myself fully. It's helped me so much. I highly recommend this course for anybody who wants to grow. Growing is amazing. Thank you, Teresa. You are a bundle of love, and all the best to the beautiful people out there.
More wonder, more magic, more possibility.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you can all see me to this Unlock Your Sexual Desire Challenge. And I'm super happy to be here with you. It really brings so much joy to my heart to be with women in this deep space where we can look at what excites us, what opens our body to love. Because as women, we need to experience love. If we don't give love, it's actually quite a torturous experience for us. If we can't receive love and we can't give love, we need to open our hearts to love, because that's what really brings us joy. That's what really brings us fulfillment, brings us excitement, brings us delight. It makes our life worth living when we feel loved, when we can share our love with someone who's so close to us. And I know, of course, love is not just in sexuality. Love is not just with our sexual partners. Of course, we love our children, we love our parents. Yeah, there may be connection deeper, right? You're connected to something deeper than yourself, loving the world, the nature. And in that intimate experience with a lover, it's such a unique place where we can physically get naked, right? And we can get naked in our soul, in our emotions. So there's something so precious in that intimate relationship with this other person. And right now, I invite you to maybe put your hand on your heart and just, you can close your eyes, feel into your heart. Notice what's moving in your heart. What's there? What is your deepest desire? If you connect to your heart. And usually our deepest desire is to love, to give love, yeah, to experience that beauty of loving someone and being loved by someone else. So breathing into your heart, and then I invite you to put another hand on your belly. Yeah, holding yourself and connecting deeply to yourself, to your deepest desires. If you could have anything you wanted, yeah. What does your soul want? What does your heart want? Taking deep breath into that space, into your open heart, into your beautiful, beautiful open heart. And maybe your heart been feeling closed a bit. Check it out. How does your heart feel? How open do you feel? How open does your body feel? Do you close down? Do you feel your opening? Yeah. And it's so beautiful when our hearts and our bodies open as flowers, when we open to love, to warmth, to intimacy. And taking a couple of deep breaths, coming back to here. And so today is our day one of the Unlock Your Sexual Desire Challenge. And today we're going to talk about the sexual desire matrix. And I'll just share the screen with you, the slides. And please do it, let me know where you calling from, yeah, where you joining us from. Please post it. Yeah, hi Elizabeth. Thank you so much, yeah, for your comments. It really helps me when you comment. Then yeah, I feel like we're really engaging here together. And I'm going to be answering your questions. Please do ask your questions. You can ask under this event. You can ask me privately if that feels a bit too much. Yeah. And so here's our day number one. And this is a 5-day training, yeah? And so in this training, you're going to learn how to unlock the power of your desire so you can enjoy that soul-fulfilling sexual intimacy. So it's not just about sex. It's actually about how our sexuality connected to our heart so we can fully open our bodies to love. And this training is for women who want to reclaim the power and beauty of their sexuality, yeah? It's also for women who are done living small and restricted lives, where their to-do list takes over and takes the joy out of their life. And also this training for women who want to connect to their radiance, that they want to shine brightly, they want to share their love, their shine even if they had past negative experiences. And most of us had some past negative experiences, especially intimacy experiences, yeah? And maybe your current circumstances are less than ideal. It doesn't mean that you have to live half life, that you need to keep on protecting yourself. Because the more we protect ourselves, the more we start to feel lonely. Yeah. And of course, we need to find safety when we open up. But we need to establish that safety for ourselves so we can start opening up our bodies, our hearts to love. And this training is also for women who are done having sex, yeah, the mechanical sex, the just a physical act, but they desire deep and emotionally connected lovemaking instead. Yeah, so here we're all about lovemaking, not just about physicality, not just about sex. So please let me know if you can hear me, if you can, yeah. Heidi from Canada, beautiful. I love Canada. I studied in UBC, University of British Columbia. Loved it there. You can ski every day. Such a beautiful place. Yeah, so keep on posting, yeah, connecting with each other, posting questions. And so this is by the end of the training, this is what we're going to achieve. Yeah. You're going to understand the powerful sexual desire matrix and how to apply it in your life. And I've developed the sexual desire matrix so you can't find this information anywhere else. And if you can really go deep with the matrix and you can really apply it in your life, you can change your whole life experience. Yeah. And you'll also get deep insights into your sexual desire and how can you enhance it. And you'll learn strategies to overcome the barriers to your desire. Yeah. We'll talk about our accelerators, our brakes, and how can we actually turn ourselves on. And as I said before, this is not just about sex. It's about reclaiming your desire for life, for love, and finding your passion. Yeah. Living a joyful, living fulfilling life. Because quite often when we shut down our sexual desire, our whole bodies shut down. We disconnect from our passion. And then the life becomes a struggle. We're functioning, we're doing things, but there's no aliveness, there's no joy, there's no playfulness. Yeah. So tell me if you relate to this. And so that's the plan. Today is the day one. We're going to look at the sexual desire matrix. Tomorrow, we're going to identify what blocks and ignites your desire. Then on day 3, we're going to identify your light sexual desire blueprint. On day 4, we'll look at the shadow sexual desire blueprint, and that's what blocks our desire. It's so important to know that. Day 4 is the deepest day of the whole training. And then on day 5, we're going to create your personalized sexual desire map. So then you know what you need to do. Yeah. How to create the deep intimacy that actually fulfills you. And I know sometimes women, quite often they come and they work with me because that's what their partner wants. But I really want you to be here for what you want. Yeah. That actually, I want to be here. I want to create that intimacy that fulfills me. It's not just that I want to please my partner. Yeah, of course we want to please them, but I want it for me. So if we can really take that shift, I want that for me. Yeah, this is for me. Hi, Nikki. Beautiful to see you here as well. Yeah, so some people on Facebook group, some people are in the Zoom with me. Beautiful to see you here. And so that's the day one, yeah? Sexual desire matrix. So what we're gonna do today is to identify microfactors that affect your libido and also identify microfactors affecting your desire, yeah? And again, as I said, I've developed this concept so you can't find it anywhere else. This is the only place, yeah? And we're gonna go deep. Hi, Jessica, beautiful to see you, Jessica. Yeah. And I've just finished a beautiful retreat with women and we really went deep and it's so beautiful when we come in person. But I know we can create so much connection here as well. And being in your own home, it can feel safer for you to actually explore these concepts. And there's so much shame around our sexuality, around our desire, around expressing our desires, around our voice. Yeah. So it's beautiful when you're here, when we're here together. So please keep engaging, yeah, on Facebook group, talking to each other, because that's how we're going to drop the shame. Yeah. And I'll just tell you how this challenge is going to work, that I invite you to collect experience points during the challenge. And when you have the link to our membership site, I'm going to post all the replays there and you can collect experience points. And that's how you can keep the challenge for life. Yeah. So if you don't collect all the points, then the challenge is going to disappear at the end of this week. Yeah. And also if you engage in our Facebook group, you can win the relationship reboot package. Yeah. And it's valued at $500, where I'm going to work with you directly, where we're going to be on Zoom with you and your partner. And we're going to look at your relationship and the dynamics that happen in your relationship so we can shift them. Yeah. So the more you engage in our Facebook group, the more you come here live, the more chance you have to win that. And also, the person who's going to be engaging in our Facebook group, she's going to win a 3 months course that I'm going to start in September. And it's a sexually empowered radiant woman course. And I had women win this course before, and it's valued at $1,500. So it's a beautiful gift for you. So the women who are going to engage more, they have a chance to win that. And I just want to share with you this video. And Megan, she's done the course. She's done the last cohort. And this is going to be cohort 13, I think, the one that I'm going to be teaching now. And just listen to her, because it's so important when she shares how much can shift in our life. Doesn't matter how old we are. And she's such an inspiring woman. And she started to do a lot of performing after she's done the course. And I know that she went into that before, but she started to feel so much more power in herself. And she shares how much aliveness she started to feel in her body. So she's very inspiring. So please watch her. And it's such a tender place for women to share about their sexuality. So I hope you can listen to her with your heart open and with a tenderness. Yeah.
I was very aware of having not really enjoyed my femaleness for a long time, always realizing that I had trauma as a younger child and that had an effect on my pleasure and comfort in my body. I really just felt your strength about how much you care about women's health and pleasure and joy, and it felt like a really wonderful invitation to a great opportunity. For me, it's hard to do things in a group because I grew up in a large family and the presence of other people was not a comfort. And the whole sexual thing, being somebody and knowing my body's changed so much in the last couple of years, feeling sort of like, is this ridiculous? What am I even thinking? But the desire to have the intimacy and the closeness, both physical and spiritual, emotional, gave me the courage to enroll. I was very shy in the beginning. I felt very safe with you personally. From the very beginning, though, I felt the other women's earnestness and deep desire of their own to be here in the course. And that felt really like I was in a circle. I did feel like I had met sisters who were on a similar path. The respect, the gentleness, and it felt really great to realize that I was not alone and that other women were willing to share. There's a lot of tenderness. It grew so much in our group. Oh my goodness. I think the biggest shift for me is that I trust myself so much more. A trust has been so missing. The self-respect that I've gained and the confidence I've gained has been really meaningful, deeply meaningful. I feel that my past doesn't dominate me anymore. I feel hopeful and energized and focused on my own pleasure, on my own decisions. Being willing to listen to my body on those deeper levels has really shifted me away from a sense of hopelessness and self-loathing. I had a lot of self-loathing going into the course. I feel like I took her hand right where it was the most painful and learned together about loving ourselves in that most difficult, painful place. It's more embodied because I think if I look back 3 months ago, I was not occupying my body the way that I'm occupying my body now. I actually have fallen in love with my breasts, which I thought would never happen. I feel more sure of myself in relating to other people. I don't feel afraid of losing myself. My boundaries really affected my relationships. I don't need other people's approval as much. I feel that I have more of a sense of myself and I communicate myself in a gentler, softer way, which feels more natural. It's given me a chance to think that I might be in relationship, that I could actually do a relationship. So much of the feeling of it's too late is an external force that we allow in. It takes a lot to dig down deep for that kernel of aliveness that we all have and to really claim it and say, I want this. It just feels so good to claim myself. I really, really love this course. I feel that you really know what you're doing in terms of the psycho-emotional aspect, but mostly it's the caring and the respect. I would say to women who have any inkling of wanting to do this, to trust that inkling and really be willing to stand up for yourselves and claim something new and beautiful in your life. It's a very special place and time, this workshop, to grow and fall in love with yourself. It's a miracle. I think it's remarkable that women do continue to be fierce, to fight for their beauty and their way of being.
And isn't it beautiful? When I listen to Megan, such a beautiful sharing, such a beautiful woman. And she talks about that aliveness, yeah? So just check in, yeah? If you check in with yourself from 1 to 10, 10 being fully alive, 1 is being closed and functioning. Yeah, just check in how alive you feel. Yeah. Notice what moves inside. And wouldn't it be wonderful, yeah, to feel so alive and to trust yourself. And that's the beautiful part here that Megan shares. Actually, I started to trust myself. I took my little girl, my health part, yeah, and I started to love her. And now I can trust myself. And now I can feel that my life is opening and I can have that beautiful intimacy with someone else. Yeah, so just such a beautiful sharing. I hope you enjoyed that. How would that be for you, huh? Yeah. So just if you start to think that, oh, maybe it's not possible for me, maybe it's too late for me, it's not true, huh? It's so not true. It's never too late. And yeah, Megan, she really proves that. And so your mission, this training, is to understand the sexual desire matrix and to learn how to apply it in your life, because everything happens in the application. Yeah, we have so much knowledge now. Yeah, especially now with AI, that everything you want you can ask and it's there. But what actually important is to apply the knowledge, and that's when you're gonna see the shifts in our life. Yeah, and then you learn how to apply it so you can unlock the power of your sexual desire and enjoy heart melting and spirit infused intimacy. I totally believe sexual intimacy can open us up to something bigger than us. Yeah. And so let's define sexual desire. So sexual desire is a natural, yeah, biological part of being human. And it lives in our bodies, it lives in nervous system and in our emotional field, yeah, and in our head. And it varies wildly, yeah? Not everyone experiences in the same way. So the way you experience it is the right way for you, yeah? And then some people don't experience it at all. And that's valid as well, yeah? Asexuality is real and valid. But I'd imagine if you weren't interested in sexual intimacy, you wouldn't be here, yeah? So, and that's why what happens here, that it's natural biological, yeah, let's define it. And it's deeply rooted in our biology. The brain, the hormones, the nervous system, body tissues, they all play a major role in generating sexual motivation and response, yeah? And really, reviews show that sexual desire arousal involves complex interactions across our somatic and autonomic nervous systems, yeah, limbic structure, hypothalamus, prefrontal cortex, and all that works together, yeah? And there's a mind and body integration. And quite often we can think, right, about sexuality, and then the body responds, yeah? So there is integration, and our body affects our mind affects our body, yeah? And then the nervous system, yeah, and hormonal influences, that sexual desire is modulated by our hormones, yeah, and neurotransmitters, testosterone, estrogen, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, yeah. And testosterone, for example, strongly correlates with sexual motivation, yeah. Oxytocin enhances our desire. And also, the emotional field affects our desire and our psychosocial context. It's very important the environment we live in affects our sexual desire, yeah? It's shaped by our emotional well-being, by our relationships, by stress, by body image, by trauma, by our culture, by age, by mental health. So there are a lot of aspects that are affecting our sexual desire. And quite often we might think there's something wrong with me, but actually it's that we're not aware of what factors are affecting us. And that's what we're going to do today. So you become more aware. Yeah. And also psychological research confirms that sexual desire depends on our attachment style. depends on mindfulness, on mental health, yeah, on emotional intimacy. And sometimes women come to me and they say, oh, I don't have sexual desire, there's something wrong with me. But then we start talking about their relationship with their partner and they don't feel safe there. They don't feel emotionally connected. So of course, then we don't have sexual desire, yeah? And also that natural desire, our desire has natural fluctuations, depending on our life stage, depending on our cycle, yeah, depending on our emotional fluctuations. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I hope that you don't expect yourself to feel the sexual desire to the same, like to the same stimulus that you felt when you were 20. We change, yeah? What we need changes. And also there's a concept of erotic plasticity, yeah? And that shows how culture, how our experiences, life experiences affect our sexual drive over time. And also what is good about erotic plasticity, it means we can change, yeah, the pathways, and we can actually start to experience more desire the more attention we put on it. Yeah, so happy for you to be here, because the more we talk about our sexuality, the more you know about it, the more you focus on it, you actually, erotic plasticity, you can affect it and you can change the way you relate to your sexuality. Yeah. And so for many people, sexual desire bridges to that emotional closeness, yeah, then to vitality and also creativity. Yeah, I use a lot of my sexual energy for my creativity. It's an important source of energy for me, yeah. And also it creates this deep bonding with someone else. And it's such a special place to be physically, to be emotionally open, naked with someone else. And also, of course, it's not that only source of intimacy. And not everyone needs it for deep love, yeah? But I'd imagine if you're here, you know there's more possible for you. And I know through sexual intimacy, my body can actually open up so much more in such a beautiful way that I can't do by myself, yeah? My partner can me up so much more than I can do it myself. And that's the beauty of sexual intimacy. If we allow the other person to be fully there with us, yeah, then we can open up. We can allow them, even the places that we can't open here, we feel stuck. If we feel the trust, if we allow them to enter our emotional field, our body, yeah, then we can open so much more and we can experience those really transcendental states of mind where we feel connected to so much more than us. And we can deeply feel that emotional, sexual connection with our partners as well. And it's so possible for everyone, yeah? And sexual desire or lack of it can have a big impact on how we relate, yeah, especially in romantic and long-term relationships. And I work a lot. I'm a couple therapist, so I work a lot with couples, and I can see how lack of sexual intimacy, like when there's a lack, it's like 80% of the problems in the relationship. But when sexual intimacy works, it's only 20% of the relationship. Yeah. So they've done the statistic. It's a really important part to know. Yeah. The lack of it affects us so much. Please, can you please in the comments, if you post some comments, tell me how you relate to this, what resonates. Just take a sip of water. And also the big part for women, when we don't feel that sexual desire, we start to feel less than a woman. And that's how it deeply affects us. Yeah. And it's really sad because we might say, I don't want sexuality. Yeah. Like I'm over it. I don't want to share it with anyone. I don't trust it. Or my partner is just for my partner. It's not for me, but actually deeply affects our sense as how we feel about ourselves. Yes. Human beings as women. So for this 5-day challenge, my challenge for you would be that you don't do it for your partner. You actually do it for yourself. Yeah. You're here because you want it for yourself and you can put them aside. Yeah. But I actually want to find that spark inside myself. I want to know how to turn myself on. It's important for me because that's what's going to unlock, yeah, your sexual desire when it's you want it. Because if you feel like push is like, oh, I'm doing it for my partner. Yeah. I'm just doing it for them, then there's a part of that's going to resist it. And as much as you want it, there's this resistance that comes up. But if I just want it for myself, I'm putting my partner aside for now, I just want this for myself, then you can start opening so much more. Yeah, if that makes sense, please let me know. It'd be nice to see your comments. And so let's talk about spontaneous versus responsive desire. Yeah. So in women, sexual desire is often defined as a responsive desire, which means that it occurs in response to sexual arousal. Yeah. Or stimuli rather than spontaneously appearing out of nowhere. That's what usually happens for men, right? In their sexuality, the desire just appears. And then there's an expectation that it's the same for women. But actually, no, our desires are responsive. We need to respond to something. Yeah. And my take on it is that desire occurs in response to life. So we don't always just need sexual stimuli, right? It's not that our partners need to do a lot, but we actually can learn how to respond to life, to that energy, to the life force. And then also, of course, we need to respond to our partners. So again, there comes a point where if I don't trust my partner, yeah, I don't want to respond to him. And if there's nothing for me to respond to, then there's no desire. Yeah, so check in. Yeah. How does it like sound for you that actually if you desire, sometimes women judge themselves for not having spontaneous desire. Yeah, and that's how they say I don't have any desire. But actually, what happens for you if you start thinking about your desires responsive? What is there to respond for me to? And for me, when I try to swim every day through the winter even. And when I go to the beach, especially when it's cold, and there's so much for my body to respond, right? I jump into that freezing water and I come out of that water and I feel my whole body starts to vibrate. Yeah, with love, with light. And I find that responsiveness in my body to life, to nature. Yeah. Let me know what happens. Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Staying present during intimacy. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, especially in day 4. So that's our blocks, what blocks us. And when we lose our presence, then yes, of course, sexual desire disappears. We're not quite there. And so what I know is that quite often we're frustrated with our sex life. It's not because of how other people are, but because we are not connected to that ecstatic energy flow inside ourselves. Yeah. And we live quite often as women, we leave it up to men, yeah, especially to our partners, to show us a different experience. But they keep on failing us, yeah. And then we get resentful, we get resigned. This is how it is, and I can't change it. But you surely can, because I totally know as women, we have so much more power in intimacy because women are all about connection. Yeah. So it's actually up to us to change our relational experiences, to change our intimate experiences. We can invite them into the deep experience with us. But first, we need to connect to that ecstatic energy flow right inside our bodies. Yeah. And I just now invite you to maybe close your eyes. Yeah. And we just see where you're at. Yeah. And I hope you feel a warm, big hug coming your way. So happy to be here with you. Yeah. And just check in that maybe, yeah, maybe you had enough judging yourself. Maybe you know that voice that tells you you're not good enough, yeah, not slim enough, not beautiful enough, not young enough. Yeah, and maybe you had enough of that. Also, maybe you had enough of feeling guilt and shame around your sexuality. Yeah. Maybe you had enough of feeling dull, feeling disconnected from pleasure. Maybe you had enough of feeling sexually unfulfilled. Just checking how it feels in your body, that sense of, I actually had enough. I want to do something different right now. I want to be someone different. Yeah. More of myself, more connected to my aliveness. I had enough of living a small life where to-do list just takes over. I'm taking care of everyone else, but not myself. Yeah. If you can step into that, I had enough. I want a different experience of life. I know I deserve more love, more freedom, more connection, more joy, more playfulness. Yeah. Because you're here, I know you want to feel confident and attractive in your own skin. I know you do. You want to feel desired. You want to feel desirable. You want to feel desiring as well. Yeah. And I know that you want to experience the ecstatic, heart-melting intimacy with your partner. And I know it's possible for you. Okay, so if you post any more comments, and this is the sexual desire matrix. Yeah, so we're gonna look, there's micro factors and micro factors. Yeah, so we're gonna look at the sexual desire matrix, and I invite you to have a pen and paper, take the notes. Yeah, as I'm gonna be speaking about the factors that affect our sexuality. Yeah, I invite you to take the notes. And for now, if we can just listen to this, Lenny, she's going to talk about her experience and actually how her experience in connecting her desire changed her intimacy with your partner. So I'm sharing this for you to get inspired. Actually, it's possible for me to have a different experience. It's not just up to my partner. Yeah, I can take that power in my hands and do something different.
There's a sense of security that I've acquired deep within myself. I've empowered myself even more now than what I have ever known I could do with the help of you and the ladies that were in the course. I don't have butterflies in my stomach talking about different things with my partner anymore. I open up way more readily and we just enjoy being in that space. I've become softer inside towards my partner. I think it's helped us immensely. It has definitely helped us to form a bond that we didn't have before. We talk about things that never entered our minds prior to doing your course. We've both had a couple of sessions with you together, which also has been amazingly helpful. Definitely more open, more trusting each other more to share what we've wanted to say for the past 3 or 4 years since knowing each other. Now we know we're in a safe haven to be able to do that without any judgment or whatever there was before I joined your course. So jointly, it's been brilliant. We've really enjoyed it. I think that the investment was so worthwhile. I'm thinking about that little prison cell in my heart that I was opening up quite often through the course. It's wow, I can do this now. I don't have to hide in that prison cell anymore. Yeah, it's a fantastic feeling, to be honest. My heart's just a lot softer and freer and more willing to open up to things. After doing the course, I felt radiant inside. I felt as though I had blossomed into a new flower. I'm just more accepting of myself and of others. Before I joined your course, I was putting a lot of my qualms down to menopause, which in reality is an excuse, because we can all get ourselves out of situations that we think we're in if we put our minds to it and our hearts as well. I grew to realize that the menopause wasn't a factor. It was more about me and how I was dealing with things internally. I've gone on HRT. That's helped, but it's not helped immensely. I don't have time is not really relevant nowadays. I know that I can put 10 minutes aside for myself if I really wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah. Nobody else can do that for me. You cannot do it. My partner cannot do it. I have to do that.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And that's an important piece. Yeah, quite often. And I know menopause changes. Yeah, and I see, yeah, Chalice, I see your comment there. Chase, I think that's, I hope I say your name right. Yes, of course. Yeah. When we go through menopause, when we're breastfeeding, our hormones affect how we feel in our body, affect our desire, affect how we relate to our bodies. And it's not the whole story. Yeah. And I know that the more we start connecting to that fire inside, yeah, and if we can ask for what we really need at those different times in our lives, we can actually start to experience way more fulfillment. Yeah. And we can find, I understand, yeah, like a Chase, you say, yeah, you've got your 1.5-year-old. And of course, when we have little kids, yeah, there's not as much time. But we can find half an hour once a week, yeah, and we can actually extend that time. And because the deep connection, sometimes we feel like we need a lot of time for the deep connection, but actually, if we can open our hearts and our bodies, the deep connection can happen like in 5 minutes. Yeah, it can happen in a moment, but we need to be able to really fully open up. Yeah, and where we need time is actually time to get to that safety so we can start opening up. But the more we can open up, then we can go there quicker. And then we can really feel the deep intimacy. And of course, yeah, lovemaking, when it takes longer, it just feels so beautiful. But maybe you can allow yourself half an hour, yeah, once a week, even if you're super, super busy, once a week, half an hour. But it's more how you do that, yeah, how open, how connected you feel to yourself, yeah, and then to your partner. And so just check in, where are you at? And I invite you, maybe you can take your journal and just write, reflect, where are you in? Where are you at? Yeah. Are you frustrated with your sex life? Yeah. Why are you here? Have you lost your desire? Maybe you see sex just as another chore. Yeah. Maybe you have sex to keep peace. Maybe you like confidence, yeah? Maybe you feel inexperienced and it's really discombobulating, right? When we like, especially because most women I work with after 40 and I still go into bedroom when I feel like a little girl, yeah? That might feel like, whoa, how is this happening, yeah? We feel embarrassed, we feel shame, we feel confused in the bedroom. And it happens so often. So you're not alone in that, yeah? There's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you don't feel sexy and attractive. Yeah, maybe you're changing body, like, oh, I don't know, I can't relate to this body anymore. Yeah, maybe you feel disconnected from your body. Maybe you live more in your head. Because a lot of women, when we feel disconnected, when we feel like, oh, it's not a safe place for me to be, we go up to our heads and we start walking like talking heads. And of course, in the talking head, there's no connection. Yeah, there's no desire. Maybe you had past negative experiences and you feel they're still robbing you of joy and pleasure in your life right now. And maybe you sense that there's more fulfillment and meaning possible in your sexual life. Yeah. So please reflect on these questions and maybe you can post comments. Yeah. Where do you feel yourself? And I'm looking this way because I've got a screen here and I can see you here commenting. Yeah. Let me know, where are you at? What's actually going on with you? Why are you here? Yeah. And I see Jessica, I see Diane. Yes. Yeah, and Jessica, yes, when it's hard work, right? We lose the presence and then it becomes hard work, then it becomes a chore, and then it's harder for us to actually turn ourselves on, yeah? So we look at this training, how can you shift that? Yeah. And so this is the sexual desire matrix. And first we look at the micro factors, yeah? The contextual factors. So that's the water we're swimming in, our environment, our life stage, our spiritual beliefs and community. Yeah, all of that affects our sexual desire. And please take your journal again. And as I talk about micro factors, if you reflect which ones affect you the most, so you know what you need to look at. And I'm going to share a lot here. So please look at just maybe one or two factors. Yeah, this is the key for me. Instead of looking at everything and feeling overwhelmed, that's not going to be helpful. To start with, you just choose one or two. Yeah, then you can go with the next ones. Yeah. So first one is our environment. And our surroundings are so important, yeah? They either inspire us or they create stress for us. Like think about trying to relax in a cluttered bedroom, yeah? With laundry piled up in the corner, your phone buzzing, lots of distractions. And especially right with the phones, if we're on the phone, our partner is on the phone, and then we're supposed to be open and sexually connected, it's impossible, yeah? And then on the flip side, right, when the environment is sensual, yeah, when there's something beautiful there, when you feel that sense of freedom, when you don't have to think about someone else hearing the noises, yeah, that's what creates that relaxation. And then the desire comes up, yeah. So, and everyone needs a different setting, yeah. For some people, actually having been somewhere else, right, in a hotel, in a motel, or maybe in nature, it's more exciting for them. Yeah, so it doesn't need to be just soft and vanilla way. You might need something else, but the environment affects us hugely. So I invite you to reflect, how does environment affect your sexual desire? And make your journal. Yeah, take a couple of notes. And if I just share a little bit about myself, since we're going to be here for 5 days, I've just realized I haven't shared about me yet. And I'm Tarisha Tarok, as I'm sure. I've got 15 years of experience of working with women, with couples. And I'm trained in Hakomi, somatic psychotherapy. And I'm also trained in emotionally focused therapy for couples, in sex therapy. And I've done my trainings in breath work and also in trauma therapy, because working with sexuality, you can imagine could happen a lot of trauma that I need to be very gentle and work with. And I'm also trained in sacred sexuality. So that's another aspect that I bring to my work, is actually the tantric sacred sexuality work, where our sexuality is not just about our physicality, but actually our connection to something bigger, where we can have transcendental spiritual experiences through opening our bodies to love with someone else. And I also have 2 postgraduate degrees in psychotherapy and in counseling. And I've done my master's research on the power of group work for women's sexual empowerment. So that's why I just love group work. I know how much we can shift when we're together. Yeah, it's so much more powerful than one-on-one. And I complement group work with one-on-one, but I notice how the shame, the guilt survives in the darkness. And also as women, we learn from osmosis, yeah, by osmosis. So when another woman feels something, we can actually really feel that energy, and we can start feeling that energy inside of us. Yeah. And so I work with couples, I work with individuals on how to create the deeper connection. Yeah. And I used to be an accountant. I used to be a chartered accountant. That's how I started my career. And when I was chartered accountant, I actually felt so, I remember, restricted. And my body felt like I was in a straitjacket. And I had so much back pain, and I felt so dissatisfied. And it just, life didn't have any meaning. And I was married to my then husband, and everything's supposed to be beautiful, but I actually felt so disconnected from myself, from my sexuality, that from my aliveness, that nothing was making me happy. I supposedly, like on the surface, I had a good life, but actually inside, I felt like I was dying. I was feeling like, no, I don't want to be here. And then at a certain point, I felt like I can't do this anymore. So I resigned, I divorced, and I went traveling around the world to find what actually makes me tick, right? What brings me happiness. And through all the travels and all the workshops and lots of different meditations, what I found is that my connection to myself, to my own radiance, to my own aliveness, that actually what makes a difference for my life and for my connection with other people. Yeah, I can be in a relationship, but if I'm not fully alive, fully open, that relationship is not going to be satisfying. And so that's why I love teaching this, because I know we go through kind of our body, our sexuality, but it's going to change your whole life experience. Yeah, how open we can be in our hearts and our bodies is how other people are going to meet us. Yeah. And now I feel so loved, I feel so connected, that it's just quite amazing for me to look back when I was a chartered accountant and how miserable I was, how I had no idea who I was. And where I'm at now, it's just so beautiful. And like at the retreat, I think it was last weekend, when I was teaching the retreat and being there with women, it was like, wow, this is my life's work. That's what really feels so exciting for me. And there's so much gratitude from women that I receive, and the gratitude that I feel for women who are able to actually and willing to step into this road. Yeah. Because quite often we feel like, I know where I'm at, and it feels not so exciting and I'm not so happy, but it's comfortable. And to actually start working on our sexuality, our connection to ourselves, it's a huge step. So that's why I'm so happy you're here. It's just so important, and it does take courage, yeah, to start having these conversations. But that's what's gonna change your life experience so profoundly. So please, yeah, comment, tell me how that resonates. That maybe you're in your life, and you don't need to, right, change your jobs. You don't need to resign. You don't need to change your husbands. It's not about that. That's what I needed to do back then. And that's why I've spent last 15 years learning and working on this, that now we can actually do it much faster. I can teach you the process of how you can open up your body so much faster, and you don't need to live your life as it is. Yeah, I had to go through that process. You don't need to. Okay, so let's look at the second, community. Yeah, so community affects our desire a lot. It can, like, imagine a community that like uplifts, that celebrates our humanity, our physicality. And also if the community judges, yeah, if there's body shaming, if there's, like, if you look at the media right now, yeah, we're all supposed to look a certain way, and there's a lot of shame, they're feeling I'm not good enough, and that really affects us. So look at your community, yeah. There is a bigger, right, culture, but also who you're interacting with, yeah. And the piece here is, if your community, if women around you constantly judging their partners, yeah, then how can I open my body to my partner if I actually don't trust men? Yeah, if everyone tells me that there's something wrong with them, or if everyone tells me there's something wrong with me. So reflect, how does community affect you? Yeah, what's happening there for you? Who are you friendly with? Yeah, how do they talk about sexuality? Yeah, how do they talk about intimacy? And next one is life stage. So our lives, right, is distinct chapters. Yeah, when we were in our 20s, then we have kids. Yeah, then there's menopause. It always changes. So don't expect yourself to experience sex in the same way when you were 20. Yeah, don't judge yourself against that. That's not how it is. Yeah, really, where you're at is so important. Your life stage is hugely important. So, and it's important not to blame our life stage. Yeah, because sometimes what I hear women say, well, I'm going through menopause, that's why I don't want any intimacy. Yeah, that's an excuse, that's a blame. But actually, okay, this is what I'm going through. How can I make it work for me in this life stage? That's a different question. Yeah, how can I make it work? I know this is what's happening for me. How can I use it? What do I need to make it work for me right now? Yeah, so reflect, how does your life stage affect your sexual desire? Where are you at? And the next one is our spiritual beliefs. That's the last one. And for some women, yeah, spirituality is the compass, right? That guides their deepest thoughts, their feelings about intimacy. Some view sex as a sacred act, like coming from tantric position, yeah. And there is a spiritual connection beyond physical. While others, yeah, we might have conflicting beliefs as like sex is shame, is sin, and then how can I actually be open to sexuality, yeah? So really notice how your spiritual beliefs affect your relation to sexuality, yeah, and your sexual desire. And if we don't have spiritual beliefs, that affects us as well, because then we're likely to see sex just as a physical, yeah, or maybe emotional act, yeah. So that's important as well. Really notice, do you believe that actually sex can connect you to something bigger than yourself? Yeah. Do you have thoughts, even logically, you know, it's not true, but that it's sin, it's shameful. Yeah. Take your journal, reflect. How does it affect? How spirituality affects you? Yeah. So the micro factors of the sexual, contextual factor of the sexual desire matrix: environment, community, life stage, and spiritual beliefs. Yeah. So now let's go to the micro factors. And we have 6 micro factors. Yeah. So they're self-intimacy, body love, internal state, erotic voice, intimate resonance, and playful exploration. So let's look at each one separately, yeah, and see which one, and maybe choose 1 or 2 that you need to focus on. And self-intimacy is all about I see myself. And this pillar focusing on understanding your own body, your emotions, your sexual desire. Yeah. It's about cultivating the deep connection with yourself to understand your personal needs, yeah, to your preferences in intimate relationships. This is the pillar you need to focus on. Yeah. And we go way deeper into this pillar in the 3 months of Become a Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course, because this is a foundational pillar. If I don't feel that intimacy is with myself, if I don't know myself, how can I create intimacy with someone else? Yeah. And I just want to here show you how sexual lack of desire affects women. So you know that it's not just you. Yeah. How it affects us is that we start to have reduced self-esteem and body image. And also this emotional disconnection with ourselves, with our partners. Because quite often, especially if you're attracted to men find emotional connections through sexual intimacy. Yeah. And if we don't have sexual intimacy, then there's no way for them to connect with us. Yeah. And women quite often won't feel some emotional connection and then go into sexual intimacy. So if we have disconnected goals, yeah, both partners feeling disconnected, then when we don't have that sexual desire, we can start to have stress and anxiety, yeah, about our relationship, about where we're going, yeah, what's going to happen. And it creates conflict in relationships. Yeah, one person wants to have sex more than the other. One person tries to please and does it even when they don't want to. And also the other piece that is huge is that we then start to lack affection and physical touch. Because when we start to avoid sexual intimacy, we might feel like, well, if there's touch, physicality, then we have to go into sex. I don't want that. So we shut down physical touch. And it's so hugely important for us, yeah? That physical touch is so hugely important. We need it, yeah? Babies die without physical touch. So we need that. And it's so sad if we start shutting down sexual connection, we start to lose on that affection and physical touch. Okay, so next pillar is body love. Yeah. And it's all about body appreciation. My body is my home. I feel safe in my body. I appreciate everything she does for me. Yeah. This encouraging kind of this loving relationship with your body. Yeah. And this aspect is super crucial to feeling comfortable. Yeah. And confident in expressing your sexuality. Yeah. And also involves how you take care of your body. Exercise, food, water, body work, time in nature is so important for our sexual desire. Yeah. This is the pillar you need to focus on. Yeah. Because sexuality happens in the body. If I don't feel good in my body, how am I supposed to share my body with someone else? And just right now, I invite you to maybe hug yourself. Just give yourself a bit of time and saying, I'm right here with you, my body. And maybe I've been judging you. Maybe I haven't been taking care of you. But right now, I'm right here. Yeah, I want to listen to you. I want to love you. Maybe I'm willing to love you if I can't say I want to. Yeah. But just right now, if you just spend a bit of time with your body, couple of moments, maybe saying sorry to your body, maybe saying, I commit to taking care of you. I want to take care of you. Yeah. Thank you for doing everything you do for me. Thank you for carrying my spirit, my soul around. Yeah. Taking a deep breath and come back here. Yeah. And do you know that 43% of women report sexual dissatisfaction? Yeah, it's half of us. And sometimes I think it's way more than that. Huh? And then 30% of women say they have low sexual desire. And 91% of women actually say that they don't like at least one part of their bodies. Yeah. So it's most of us don't like the body we live in. And then we expect ourselves out to be physically open. How can I be open? Yeah, physically, emotionally, in my heart and my sexuality, if I judge myself. Yeah, it becomes quite a difficult task. So the next one is internal state. And internal state is all about I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm open, or maybe I'm stressed and I need to fix this. And when we're relaxed and open, then anything could feel good and turn us on. Yeah. If we're open and relaxed, any touch, yeah, can do that. But if we're stressed, then even the most enjoyable touch can feel really irritating. I wonder if you relate to this one. And also there's a piece where being stressed about the relationships can activate our desire because we might use sex to reaffirm the attachment with our partner. But then the desire might feel a bit desperate and it could turn off our partners. So notice if your desire is affected by the relational stress, yeah, and how you, like, what you do with that. The next one is our erotic voice. And erotic voice is all about I know my desires and I can speak them out loud and unapologetically. And it's the ability to articulate our needs, our desires, our boundaries very clearly and confidently. Yeah. And this involves open, honest dialogues with our partners. Yeah. And quite often women come to me and they're like, my voice is stuck in my throat. I can't speak. I'm so scared. There's so much shame. And we're so scared of making sound. And then we expect our partners to know what we want. But actually, if there's no sound, yeah, even not words, no sounds, it's really difficult. So I invite you, starting from today, yeah, maybe today, just take a piece of chocolate or something you really love. And when you taste it, if you can make a sound of pleasure, because this is the sounds of pleasure that we need to start amplifying so our partners know what feels good for us. Yeah. It's beautiful if you can really put it in words and talk. But during the sexual intimacy, if you can really bring that voice, yeah, so they know what feels good. Is this the pillar you need to focus on? Yeah. And again, this is a huge pillar that we go into in the 3 months course, Become Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman, because we need to practice speaking our desires and boundaries. And I find that when we're with other women, you can practice speaking your desires, your boundaries, what works, what doesn't, and then you're able to do it with your partner as well. But we need to practice opening our voice. We can't just do it. Yeah, it's too much pressure. So that's why working with a group of women is just such a beautiful place. And I want to share with you this video of Faye while I take a sip of water. And it's beautiful what she shares here, how her life changed. and how after finding her erotic voice, yeah,
my sexuality had been very shut down, not being able to really express myself fully and not enjoying myself enough and doing what my partner wanted and not really feeling able to ask for what I wanted. That coming out of that is huge. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. The sense that this is what it's really like to be human, to be fully human, being more connected to myself, more connected to living authentically, both in myself and with others, more meaning. I've definitely made a clear choice not to continue with certain people and certain activities that are not aligned with this new sense of being more of who I am, more willingness to just say what's going on with me where I wouldn't have done that before. Having relationships that are meaningful and real all the time rather than some of the time. I know I'm answering my needs for connection in a different way because I don't want inauthentic connection now. So I'm inviting in more people and experiences that have this newness, real shift with people in my life. More that sense of wholeness, which I didn't have before doing this work. From the feet up, from the ground up, feeling my whole being as a sexual being, a totality rather than something just in one part of my body. Yes, more ease, more comfort, more relaxed joy.
yeah. So that's what can happen, huh? When we find our erotic voice, our whole life experience changes. And I hope Faye, she talks so beautifully about it, that we can shift our relationships, yeah, with ourselves, with other people, and we can ask for that connection in a very different way, in a way that actually invites love. Because quite often, when our erotic voice is shut down, the way we ask for love is actually can be repelling, yeah, because we can put it out as a to-do list, or there's frustration and resentment that comes out. So it's super important to actually, how can I speak so I invite people into the loving relationship with me, yeah, how I can invite my partner into that loving relationship. So finding our erotic voice is so important. It's not just about talking, yeah, because sometimes it's like a pendulum. Women don't talk, they don't speak anything, and then they start just saying everything, whatever they mean. But actually, that can repel, they can push away people and their partners, yeah. So important to actually find that balance where I speak, but I'm an invitation for love. Yeah, I speak and I share myself, and people just, it draws people into my space. They want to be there with me. Yeah, and that's what can happen. And Faye talks about it beautifully. And so the next one is the intimate resonance. So this is hugely important, and it's all about I see you and I get you and I trust you. We can play together and we feel safe with each other. Yeah, I know you get me. And this is what it highlights the importance of emotional intimacy and resonance. Yeah, and also that you need to develop that emotional intelligence within yourself, and that sense of alignment, that we need to find that resonance. And then when can we start responding? Yeah, once we find that resonance, we can start responding to our partners. Yeah, and we do a bit of work in finding that intimate resonance here in Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course, but it's primarily work with couples here. When we work with couples, finding that resonance with each other, that's where it becomes so important. That if I don't have resonance with my partner, there's no sexual desire. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your sexual desire. I hope you understand that, because so many women come to me and they say, I don't have any desire, there's something wrong with me. Yeah, but actually what's happening in the relationships? Yeah, there's no intimate resonance. I don't trust, I don't want to open my heart, I don't want to open my body. Yeah, so hugely important. See, do you need to focus on this? Yeah, is the intimate resonance the part of why your sexual desire is missing? Yeah, and when we find that sexual desire, yeah, we start to live our life to the fullest. We start to feel confident, feel connected, feel free, desirable. It's so beautiful. Yeah, we can bring that spark back. We can experience that emotionally connected sexuality. Yeah, we can feel our hearts melt. And then the piece that I really love is that we start to feel adored by our partner. Yeah, because we feel so emotionally connected and physically connected. Yeah, that they start adoring us, and it feels so good. It feels so nourishing. And then we become great model for our children, and that's such an important piece. And for me, that's how I started to do this work. When my daughter was born, I was like, I actually want to give you a different experience of life, of femininity. Yeah, and it's so beautiful what we can do through our experience, how we can change the experience of our children. And now I see my girl, she's just so confident, it's so beautiful. And she shares so much with me about her now, she's 16, about her love in relationships, like which boy she likes and what happens for her. And it feels so beautiful for me that we have that openness, because I know I've done my work. And I know with my mom, I would never talk about anything like that. Yeah. And my girl talks about everything with me now. And it's just like, like honey on my heart. It's just so beautiful that the work I've done actually affected our relationship, affected her, how open she is, yeah, about intimacy. And it just feels so beautiful. And the last one is the playful exploration. Yeah. And it's creative, playful exploration. I play with life. Yeah. I share my joy. I share my playfulness with others. There's willingness to explore, to experiment with your sexuality in safe and consensual ways. Yeah, that's important. This can involve learning new ways of experience pleasure, maybe new circumstances, yeah, new places. But we become so serious about our sexuality, it becomes so restricted, it becomes boring, that then we don't want it. It's like it's the same old, same old, same old. Yeah. So what's important is not to expect our partners to bring that playfulness, yeah, new experiences, or maybe you wanted to change your partner, but actually, how can I bring that aliveness, playfulness, yeah, inside myself? How can I start playing with life? And then maybe how can I start playing in sexual intimacy? So is this the pillar that you need to relate, yeah, to? Please post. I'd love to see your comments. Share your comments with me. And this is so beautiful. Tracy talks about finding that playfulness. And just as you listen to Tracy, really reflect, yeah, how much playfulness I have in my life. Have I become so serious, yeah? Because life, it's just all about playing, yeah? And our desires and our creativity and playfulness are so related. So listen to her.
I went in wanting more freedom, more open-heartedness, and more love for myself. One of the big things for me is to find my wild woman in myself and to actually let her out. And she came out, and I was just amazed at what happened over the weekend. I have to say, it's one of the most powerful workshops I've ever done in my life. I'm 54 and I've done a lot of workshops in my life. Teresa rolls very beautifully, keeping everybody safe. She's just got so much experience. I feel more love for myself. I feel more open. I feel like my energy is just so vast. What more is possible? I love that. I love that. What more is possible? Wow. So this week I've felt coming away from the course really big. My energy's been really big. I've come into a couple of challenges since I've been home, and I've coped with those okay because my energy is bigger. I feel more playful. I just feel like I want to dance around my lounge with my cat or be a bit sillier or more creative. It's definitely opened stuff up for me, and I want to continue on this journey being my true self, love myself fully. It's helped me so much. I highly recommend this course for anybody who wants to grow. Growing is amazing, absolutely amazing. Thank you, Teresa. You are a bundle of love, and all the best to the beautiful people out there.
Isn't that beautiful? And that's the playfulness, huh? When we can start playing. So maybe today you can think, how can I play a bit more? Yeah. If you have kids or even by yourself, can I dance a bit more? Can I just laugh a bit more? What do I need to do? Yeah. And so this is the sexual desire matrix. Yeah. This is the micro factors. These are core factors, yeah, self-intimacy, body love, internal state, erotic voice, intimate resonance, playful exploration, yeah. And reflect what core factors you need to focus on to unlock your desire. And again, please choose one or two. Don't choose all of them, but which one is the most kind of like, this is my one. This is what I need to focus right now. Because if just don't get overwhelmed, yeah, there are a lot of factors, and this is the whole sexual desire matrix, yeah, with micro contextual factors or micro core factors, yeah. So in the training, you'll see the sexual desire matrix. When you go to the membership site, you can download it, you can look at it, you can listen to the training again and really think about it, yeah? And what I know that it's in our full power to open our bodies and hearts to love, to find our sexual voice. And then we can really invite our partners into that authentic heart melting spirit infused sexual intimacy. Yeah. We need to open our bodies to love first. And the truth is, and that's what I experienced for me through lovemaking, that we physically create love, more love in my body than I create more love in life. Yeah. We create more love in this world. Yeah. When our whole body kind of resonates with love, that's how we physically create more love. And the challenge is, am I willing? Yeah, because I see it again and again with women. They're frustrated with their sex life, with their intimacy, with their relationships, but somehow they feel comfortable in that place and they don't take the responsibility. They don't want to. And they continue blaming their circumstances or their partners. Yeah. Or they say, I don't have time right now. Yeah. They say, I can't change this. They say, when kids grow up, maybe then I'll have time for myself. I'll look into this. And I really get it because it's like standing in front of the tunnel, right? You don't know what's on the other side. So even if it's not good where you're at right now, at least it's familiar. So there's a comfort in it. Yeah. And the big problem is we're not getting any younger. Yeah. And I work with too many women when they tell me, I wish I did this earlier. I wish I found you earlier. Yeah. I wish we met in my 20s, but somehow we keep on like putting it on the back burner. Yeah. So it's time to awaken the beauty, the power of your sexuality. It's now. Yeah. And every day, I know every day that passes without us feeling empowered, fulfilled, free, connected, it's a day wasted, feeling dissatisfied, yeah, stuck, miserable. So I'm really happy you're here. So please take an action, yeah. Look at the sexual desire matrix, see which pillars you need to focus on, yeah. And as I said, when we do the 3 months course, then we can go real deep and really implement what you learn here. And so this was our plan, right? Today we unlock this power of the sexual desire matrix. And tomorrow is a really beautiful day. We're gonna identify what blocks, what ignites your desire. Yeah. And that's really important to see. Yeah. What accelerates my desire? What breaks do I have? Because that's gonna give you a clearer picture, yeah, of what you need to do. And remember that collect all XP points if you go to the membership site. And please engage in our Facebook group because then you can win the relationship assessment package valued at $500. And also you can win actually the place in the course if you engage, if you comment on other people. And I just love that it's a bribe. Yes, I understand, because it's just so beautiful when women start to engage, and we are so busy nowadays. So if I can bribe you to actually focus on yourself, on your sexual desire, on connection with others, I'm willing to do that because I know it's so good for you. Yeah. And so the home play is to reflect and share on our Facebook group what micro factors affect your desire and why. Yeah. And why. That's an important piece. And also reflect what micro factors affect you and why. Yeah. And please do comment on at least three other women. Yeah. So you can create a sense of community, sense of support. And my invitation for you. Yeah. Don't wait for heart melting sex. Cause it to happen in your life. And if you have any questions, please email me, tarish@sexualempowermentforwomen.com. You can DM me, ask your questions, and we'll be here tomorrow again at 10 a.m. New Zealand time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. It's Tuesday New Zealand time and Monday Pacific time. Please come here, keep on engaging, be here with us live, and I'll see you tomorrow. Big, big hug. Bye.